Sometimes we need a new starting point, a unique starting point that's different from all the previous starting points for our creative efforts. And that's different from what most other people in your industry are taking up for their creative effort. If we take the same starting point as everybody else, we are likely to end up with the same kind of solutions. But if we can take a new starting point, a unique starting point for our creative efforts, we're more likely to end up with something novel, original, with a completely new perspectives on our problem area, on our industry. So we need to identify the standards related to our work, our team, our organization, and our industry. What does nobody else dare to challenge? What does everybody else take for granted? And then we challenge it. We challenge it even if we don't know a better way. We challenge it not as an attack, not because we believe it's wrong, but because we want to go into a playful exploration. Can this be done better, in a different way, more valuable way? It's hard to challenge standards. In fact, we are going against the gradient, against the current logic in our team and in our industry. So we may need some help. Imagine you want to challenge some of the basics, some of the standards, fundamentals related to a swimming pool. What are these standards related to a swimming pool? For example, lifeguards. They have to be able to swim. Nobody would ever challenge that. So we do. That's a new starting point. It's completely absurd. But what may happen if they were not able to swim? How could they rescue? How could they get to the people in need? If the lifeguards cannot swim anymore, then they need to find another way to rescue people in need. Maybe you could put these giant nets at the bottom of the pool, and then you have these emergency buttons. And once people are in need, everyone nearby can push the button, a bit like a bus stopping button that you have inside public buses. And then the net, maybe in a local area of the pool or the total pool, the net would push up everyone inside the pool out of the water, hanging up in the air. And then now the lifeguard don't need to be able to swim, but rather be able to climb in the net very quickly and of course do CPR. Challenging such a standard, the lifeguards being able to swim, have opened up a new direction of thinking where we could include the lifeguards and making them able to swim. But now we have another opportunity. Maybe in situations where we are teaching children how to swim, it would be nice to have this kind of net at the bottom of the pool. And maybe it could be integrated at the bottom, so it's not something you can touch, but rather something that only comes out when you really need it. There may be three general approaches for how we can challenge standards. The first one is to go opposite. Do it upside down, in reverse order, or backwards in some way. So first, we take a detailed description of all the standards related to our problem area. For example, the hairdresser would normally cut your hair. That's a very good standard. It has rarely been challenged, if ever challenged at all. If we go opposite, reverse order, backwards on this particular standard, we may end up with an idea of how we can cut our own hair with the support from the hairdresser. Maybe you get a digital version of you and your hair inside a screen in front of you, or maybe as augmented reality somehow in front of you. And you'll be able to cut this. And when you cut, a robot behind you will do the same cuts that you do, exactly like you do it in your virtual world. The hairdresser can now function more as a support and facilitator who helps you make a good haircut. And you can become more involved in exactly how you want to look like at the side, in the back, and on the top. 2, we can also go extreme in order to challenge our standards. Behind us, we have a restaurant setting. One of the standards in a restaurant is, for example, that plates are relatively flat. Let's challenge that. Let's go extreme on that. We can now start to explore playfully how the plate is not flat, how it may go all the way to the floor and maybe even be a little table of its own. Now, when you walk into the restaurant, there are no tables, just chairs. If you're 4 people, you grab 4 chairs. If you're 8 people, you grab 8 chairs. Then you order, and once your plate comes in, it's like a mini table for you. And if you're 8 people, you can connect the 8 plates and it will turn into a table. When you finished eating, the plates will be taken away, which means the tables disappear. It gives you more space around you, and maybe you can rearrange the entire restaurant towards the late evening so you can have a dance floor in the middle. 3, we can also go eliminate. Eliminate some of these standards and see what happens if they're gone. Maybe we will have to replace them with something completely new, or maybe we will find a way to make it work without them. One of the standards in a supermarket setting, as you see here behind me, is that most products are placed on shelves. Let's remove these shelves. Let's eliminate them. What may happen now? We may get into a direction of thinking where we rethink the packaging of these groceries and products. Maybe we can design the packaging in a way so we can create towers and pyramids of the food. Or we get into another direction of thinking where we imagine how baskets are hanging from the ceiling and maybe at different levels. So some are closer to the floor, some are a little bit higher. And maybe they're a little bit elastic. So maybe here you have the bananas and you'll have to grab in the basket, pulling it a little bit down, take some bananas and let it go up again. Maybe there's a basket in front of you or next to you and so forth. So maybe you're walking around in a supermarket environment with baskets hanging on over with different kinds of groceries.